Welcome to another live episode of Halftime Adjustments. Your host, Eddie Arnell, my man, Mr. J. Lou. What's going on, Mr. J. Lou?
What's going on, baby? Tighten up, baby. Tighten up.
Tighten up, man. G Will will be with us in just a minute, man. Here we are, man. Week 2, J. Lou, 2024 season for Tennessee Titans. First home game
First home game.
for the two-tone blue. J. Lou, were they going to come out and play better than we did last week? You know, we saw Will with some questionable plays. Yeah. You know, that streak is still on, man. 37 straight games under 30 points. Jets 24, Titans 17. The same exact score from last week, man. And almost the same type of plays.
I was about to say, I didn't even realize the score was the same until we were leaving. And my brother told me, he was like, same, identical. I was like, oh, it was 24-17 last week.
24-17. The same type issues.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So what do you guys say, man? What's your initial thoughts on this game today, man?
Will Levis might be who all these orange tinted fans thought he was. The decision making. I mean, the bonehead plays, man. I don't. And this is the. I can live with a turnover. Any team can live with a turnover. His turnovers back-to-back weeks, you have sucked the momentum out of your own team. Because think about it. At worst case scenario, you're getting 3 points on
worst
that
case.
one. Worst case, because that's a chip shot field goal. I mean, he was within the 10-yard line. So at worst case, you get that, but you have an idiotic play that was unnecessary. And then you come back. So I'll say this. Another. You asked for my thoughts. Another thought I have. Either D-Hop's not ready or they're lying. It's one of the two. Because I still thought that Burks played too much today. And you saw that. I mean, Burks had 3 inches and some weight on that DB that went up and took the ball from him. Took the ball. Now, granted, Will probably could have put it out there a little bit more and he could catch it in stride, run it. But still, an NFL wide receiver has to make that catch.
Yeah.
So it just, I mean, the defense, you're going to wear down the defense. Now, I will say the one caveat on the defense, we've got to force turnovers, and I think they would tell you that I mean it's for good as they're playing, they're not really forcing turnovers, whether they be interceptions or fumbles the past back-to-back games. And granted, Aaron Rodgers is a pro; he's not going to put the ball in harm's way. But I thought there was some suspect with the play calling on defenses, particularly if you go back and look at that last drive that the Jets scored on. You didn't have Jeff Simmons, Big Sweat, or Harold Landry. They were on the bench for about 6 plays in a row. And me and you both know, because we were watching Aaron Rodgers for a while, once you can't sub on him because he's going to catch you with too many men on the field. So I didn't understand that. I hate to call for somebody's job after week 2, but
special team.
I'm apologizing to Craig Ockman today. I sat here and talked about him for the last year and a half. Craig, I would welcome you back with open arms right now. And if you look at it, post Stonehouse, man, think about it this way. The last 3 games that Stonehouse has punted in, he's had a punt block. The one he got hurt in, and then the first 2 this season. So I thought overall you saw some things that we could get back on track, but I mean, you've got a rookie head coach, a rookie staff for the most part, and I thought you saw today that your coach called plays based on his loss of trust in your quarterback.
I 100% agree. I think he was a little nervous to let him throw the ball down the field. You saw a lot of running, more than I thought they should have been running at the time, you know. And don't get me wrong, they had over 100 yards rushing. Pollard led the way again. Spears gets hurt. Don't really know what his issue was. You saw a little chestnut of the game. But, man, you go 5 3-and-outs for the offense today. And that's just hard to overcome, especially and 3 turnovers to go along with that. And you got another boneheaded hero ball, whatever you want to call it. I don't understand why he wants to do that, throw the ball back, try to do things like that. That is, I mean, nothing good comes out of that, right?
At
And,
all.
and if
At
you
all.
watched it, Callie chewed him when he got to the sideline, got up in his
Oh,
face.
yes.
And, I mean, he deserved it.
He
And
did,
so,
man. Not only Cali, but
yeah.
And I don't know if the TV showed it before when we sit in the stadium. Ridley
Really got in.
Ridley got after him too.
Yeah. And so I was like, man, you know, it's deja vu. I mean, the same exact stuff from last week. The block punt, the bad decision making on the underhand toss. And then, like you said, I think that Burks is big enough. And I was telling G Witt, and I think G Witt is on. I was telling him this is the trust that they don't have in Burks. So if you notice, at J. Lou, they played a lot of man coverage, and they cleared the side out sometime for Burks had one-on-one with nobody help. They didn't even try to throw a fade route, anything to him.
Yeah, that was a couple times that I was in the stands saying I see Burks is back on his cardio routes because you wouldn't even get him. And to your point, after he got the ball ripped away from him, he stopped looking at him that way. When he had a couple of them where he was open after that, they just didn't give him the ball.
Yeah. G Witt is back with us, man. G Witt, man, your first thoughts on the game today, man? On the game today?
Well, in all honesty, you know, I have to be truthful. I didn't expect us to win the game. Even though it was the Jets, I just had a feeling that, you know, with Aaron Rodgers and everything, I thought we was going to have a hard time. And the bottom line right now is that we just have a team that really just doesn't know how to win. I think we got players. I think Will is still a work in progress. You know, for a team to make the same mistakes 2 weeks in a row, that just lets me know that you're just not ready. You're not really figuring it out and putting it together to win a game. So it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be more of a struggle than I thought it was going to be, in all honesty, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And again, that's not just players. That's also coaches as well. I thought, and Eddie, you were talking about in the stands with Wilson, with some of the personnel that he had going up against Aaron Rodgers and everything, how much that was out of whack. And I thought some of the same things on the offensive side with Brian Callahan. I mean, to me, he pretty much went away from rolling Will out, getting him out of the pocket, from helping his offensive line. So right now, I just look at it as we have a team that really doesn't know how to win yet, and I'm not sure when they're going to be able to put it all together.
Well, you know, and I hate to say we told people so, but we did. We said this is going to be a long season. I mean, we said 9-8. We said 9-8 and 10-7 at best. So you know, we'll see.
And that's on the high. That's on the good end because this could be another 4 to. I mean, the over under was set at 6.5 wins, and it don't look like it's off from that.
That's right. And the bad thing, man, is just the same mistakes. And I think Nathan said the O-line took a step back today. I thought they did. I thought they held up pretty good considering the pressure the Jets were getting. Now, they had some mishaps here and there, but Will had some time to throw the ball.
Yeah.
He just, I mean, and J. Lou, I don't know if you saw it. It was the second run he had that he got the first down coming towards your end zone.
When he got hit, when
Chig was I mean, nobody within 15 yards of him.
Both runs on that last drive, he pulled it down and ran before he could have just threw the ball because he had receivers wide open. And Kenneth, my brother, Mr. K. Lou, he was in the stands yelling. Go back and look at how much on that last drive, how much Chig was open and how much the tight ends were open just the whole game. You got to think about it. By that time in the game, the Jets were down to their third linebacker. Mosley never came back in because he was hurting in. You saw the guy unfortunately pop his Achilles on the field. So they were down to their third linebacker. And if you remember, to G Witt's point about the beginning of the game, the rollouts, the early play calling, we were killing them with digs and crossing routes across the middle. Yep. They could not stop that. And then you went away from that. And that last drive, talking about a coaching blunder, you've got a 6'7" tight end that you didn't put in the game while you were on the 8-yard line.
Oh my, yes. And the fact that again, I'm not a coach. I'm not a genius, but you beat man coverage by crossing routes, in cuts, whip routes, slants. And I mean, even the Ridley touchdown catch, what I thought was a bad throw.
Terrible throw.
Will D Hop is, I mean, 20 yards in the middle field wide open. I mean, no, he puts his hands up like this when the ball is released.
Yeah,
because he's so wide open. And so, yeah, well, the silver lining is everybody's 0-2 except for the Texans. So it's a long season. It's a long season. Yeah, it's a long season. Well, they got to play the Bears tonight, so before they get 2-0. Yeah. So let's start on the defensive side of the ball for a little bit, man, because I go back to what G Witt just mentioned about the coverage. So the only way L'Jarius Sneed is a legit cornerback. I mean,
absolutely,
hands down.
Yes.
Garrett Wilson, he had one early on. He had one catch early on. Now they schemed him open on the deep corner route, which was a good play. I just gotta give it to him. But the only reason why he started getting more than that because they moved him around.
Yeah,
and I thought Denard. I thought Denard made a coaching error. Just my opinion, because he left Murray and Jones in the game when they went 5 wide.
Yes.
So you got a linebacker on Garrett Wilson at the time, or a safety.
Yep. Yes.
No. That's and of course Aaron Rodgers, the Hall of Fame quarterback, he's gonna recognize it. What he do? He started going right at it. And even when they were shifting the motion, the confusion was between the linebacker and the corners. You got somebody open. And so we saw some rookie coaching today. Unfortunately. And but let's talk more about the defense. G Witt, man, what did you see other than the things we just mentioned about the coverage? And because I thought until that started happening, I was going to say Green Bay. The Jets they couldn't move the ball.
No, they really couldn't.
And they gave them life right before the half when they gave them that touchdown because they were mixing up. Yeah, they was confused on the cover side. But go ahead, man. Go ahead.
The one thing I was struggling with, and I didn't say anything while we was at the game, but I couldn't figure out, and I understand trying to get players rest and everything, but I couldn't figure out the substitution patterns having both Simmons and Sweat out the game at the same time. It could go back to something that, we used to say, maybe you're using this like a preseason trying to figure out if you got some good, decent backup or whatever. I don't know, but I just couldn't figure that one out at all. And then the other thing that got me was the fact that we did a great job, I thought, against the run early in the game, but you could tell later on, they started struggling with it, especially with the lineup that they had. I give Aaron, again, you're going against a Hall of Fame quarterback who's seen it all.
Yeah, no doubt.
There was plenty of times where he checked out of what was obviously a passing play and went straight to a running play because he knew the middle was, because he realized that Sweat and Simmons were out.
Mm-hmm.
So he attacked the middle with the running play, and you could see that coming. So I'm just a bit confused or concerned about the substitution patterns that they had throughout the game because I couldn't figure it out. Why? At one time he had Simmons, Sweat, and Landry out the game at the same time.
Yeah, 7 plays in a row.
Yeah, and I couldn't figure out, why wouldn't you put them back in to try to slow this thing down? But I don't know. Like I said, and like you said, we're not coaches. We're not knowing what they're trying to do or what they're seeing. But I thought that was very telling, especially with the way the beginning of the game started. I thought the linebackers played well. Obviously, the guy we just got from the Rams took over, and I thought he was a huge addition. But again, I thought we had those issues where we were just getting gashed on the run late on in the game, and we could not slow it down at all. So it just opened it up for the Jets, and I just thought Aaron Rodgers just took advantage of it.
He did. J. Lou, what's your thoughts, man, with the defensive side?
So I thought that T'Vondre Sweat, and again, this is defensive tackle is a position that you can't really stat watch per se. But if you go back and look at some of those sacks that Harold Landry got, it's because of Sweat and Jeff Simmons. And when Sweat continues to get more involved, that's going to be a tough 1-2 punch. Because to G Witt's point, when you had both of them out plus Harold Landry, Aaron Rodgers ran the ball, and the problem with Aaron Rodgers is you can't substitute because he's notorious for catching you with too many men on the field.
Yep.
So I thought that was a mistake, but I thought Sweat, just looking at some goods, I thought he played very well, good today. He's allowing, if you go back and look, he got some double teams today that allowed Jeff to have one-on-ones and Harold to eat on one-on-ones. I agree with you on the linebacker play. I think you can be so stubborn with your base sometimes. Because again, and it started, to your point, that last drive right before halftime, Aaron Rodgers got in the rhythm and figured it out, and we never did anything. I thought for playing against a 40-year-old man on one leg, because he's coming off an Achilles, we didn't blitz enough. The few times that we did generate blitz or show it, you either got delay of the game, had them call a timeout, or he just ate the play. So I don't think we did enough pressure on that. I will give the Jets credit, and again, it goes back to these coaching staffs that have been together, making adjustments on the sideline. We said it last week. I'll continue to say it. The weakness of the Titans' run defense is to the outside. And that's where the Jets started attacking, was going outside with the stretch plays and to handle that. So, I'm with you about Snead and Cheeto. I don't think we've had two corners that are legit in a long time. And I will continue to give Brownlee his credit because, again, I think Cheeto is still on a semi-pitch count a little bit.
It looks like
you saw him getting spelled a little bit by Brownlee, but it wasn't no drop-off. And, again, usually Aaron Rodgers tries to attack the fresh blood. When he sees it comes in, he does it. I'll say this: Roger McQuarrie, we're seeing he missed one tackle and made up for it in the next play. Made up for it, and like his play recognition from the slot and tackling and blitzing and all. I mean, he plays against the run so well. I thought he did. I thought he did well. And again, I thought they just wore down, man. The one knock I would put on the defense is you've got to find a way to force turnovers. You're not able to force any turnovers. And, I mean, you're spending the majority of the second half on the field when you got these 3 and outs. And they held as long as they could. But, I mean, you got Aaron Rodgers. It wasn't a rookie quarterback you had like you did last week. You had Aaron Rodgers this week. So, again, I think they could tighten that up a little bit. I will say this. I was shocked that Aaron Rodgers – did you see Gibby on that running back on a 5 wide, and Aaron Rodgers just didn't look on that side of the field.
He didn't look.
I'm glad he did, because that was a touchdown waiting to happen. Because again, Gibby was a liability out there. But again, I agree with G. Whitten. I said it before he joined. They've got to look at the substitution patterns a little bit more, because it makes no sense to have those two off for 7-8 plays in a row, and you allow them to drive down the field, and by the time they get back on the field, they already within field goal range of the red zone. So
it's too late.
Yeah, and they got the momentum, right? And so, the defense could be better, but they still played well enough to win.
Oh, absolutely.
265 yards total offense for the Jets today. 1-on-1 rush, 164 pass. Who is, Aaron Rodgers being held now? He played against San Francisco last week, and they held him in check too. But man, it's 2 weeks in a row that we've held a team in check and played good enough to win. But like you said, we've got to start finding a way to create turnovers. Saw some bad angles on some tackling, on some pursuit, and that's being tired. That's being out of position, and so but things that bad penalties. Big Jeff gets a roughing the passer on third long. We got off the field.
Got off the field.
Those things right there add up. That gives an extra possession to Aaron Rodgers, overrunning the gaps. And so Kenneth Murray, when he got knocked out of the game for the play, he overran the gap. And and so you got all those things combined with the offense doing what it's doing, and it's a recipe for a loss.
And I think that when you talk about overrunning the gaps, I think they started pressing a little bit too, trying to make.
I think they're trying to force that.
And that's what caused a lot of that. And again, like you said, towards the end of the game, the fatigue factor played a part. Because, again, they took some bad angles. There was a couple of plays where they had them wrapped up and everything, and they just didn't finish the play.
Yeah, on that last touchdown run by Braylon Allen, Amani Hooker.
Amani Hooker.
He's flat-footed and then it's a bad angle. So I don't know.
Blood and everything. So,
but to your point, Ed McKinney, he says the run improved because our defense was tired. Virgil said the same thing. Too many 3 and outs, and so appreciate those comments, guys. And so we've got to find a way, man. We got to find a way to overcome the position we get put in by offense. So let's talk about the offense a little bit. So 300 yards this game of total. The time possession was about equal. You had 5 penalties, 1 for 4 in the red zone trip. That'll get you beat too. You can't score when you get in the red zone. 130 yards rushing for us, 101 for the Jets. We gave up 4 sacks, which were huge, but you can't overcome the turnovers by the way things are going right now, because every little thing counts. G, what you said it when we was in the stands. The game, football is a game of inches. Look at the Calvin Ridley catch. I mean, I did too.
Everybody in the stands thought the crosser picked the ball off.
The safety,
Yes.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And it was let's be honest about it. It was a bad throw. You don't throw in double coverage.
It was terrible.
He put it in the right. It happened to be in the right spot. Sauce didn't see the ball coming.
No.
But D Hop was. I don't even think anybody was 20 yards around him on that play. But so Nathan got a question for us as we go into the offense. Man, he said, "How short of a leash does Levis have?"
He had how many games are left? 15.
So
he has 15 games left.
15.
Yeah.
There's no leash on Levis this year. As a Titan fan, the only way you see Mason Rudolph, I think, is injury. Because I think the Titans. I think they're going to give Will Levis the entire year to figure it out. And I'll roll right into Will's thing. I just saw you pop up there. Yeah. That's why they give him the entire year. Because again, you've got the pieces around that you bought. So put it this way. The Titans team is semi-built, minus the offensive line that still needs a right tackle. The skill players and the defensive players is built similar to what the Chicago Bears did with Caleb Williams, when you got skilled players around and you hope to drop a rookie in there if they have to do that. So I fully expect them to give Levis the entire season.
Yeah, and I'm not making excuses for him, but you can't forget that this is only his 11th start of his career. But go ahead, G-Witt.
No, I was gonna say the same thing. I mean, I said in the stands, one of the things he's got to recognize though. He's making it. If he continues to play like he played these past 2 games, he's making it easier for them to go out and draft another quarterback.
No doubt.
Because what he has to realize and what he has to understand is that they're going to give you the year, but you got a year to solidify the starting position.
Yep.
And with the way you're playing right now, and you could tell. Anytime a coach berates you like that in front of the whole stand, and on TV where they had the camera right on
him,
you could read the coach's lips. So you're looking at that. It's like, dude, you better wake up and start playing some better football.
Yeah.
Now, and this ain't Kentucky. You got to understand that, and you can't keep going out there trying to play hero ball because again, me and Eddie was talking about it. At the beginning of the game, you could tell he was tight.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't. It was like he was afraid to let the ball go. He was afraid to make a mistake. Then all of a sudden, he started hitting some passes, started feeling good, and again, that mentality of hero ball came out, and you give away 3 points because you had an opportunity for 3 points at least. Even if you take the sack, you had 3 points coming to you.
Yeah.
The bottom line was you got to understand situational football.
Mm-hmm.
You're in field goal range. It's 3rd down.
Mm-hmm.
If there's not a play, what you want to do is take the sack, but minimize the sack.
Yes.
Right.
Do not turn the ball over trying to make a hero play.
Right.
And then the next time your defense do your solid, get the ball back for you. And what do? You turn it right back over on a deep ball that you really underthrew.
Well, so I'm gonna give him partial blame on that because you're right. If he throws it out there, that's a run. But I am now jumping off the Burks bandwagon because
he should have made a kick.
You can't have 3 inches on that DB and let him snatch it with one hand from you. Yes,
especially with the hand size.
Yes.
So the bottom line is, Burks is at fault too because he's supposed to make that catch. But the thing about it is, if he throws a better pass, your interception doesn't even come into play.
It's a touchdown.
Yes. So the problem on that particular ball is that it looks like, again, I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. He drifted left, and he couldn't step into it. So he threw off 1 foot.
Yeah.
And so instead of him going up in the pocket to get a better ball, he drifts and he's throwing it off 1 foot. I told you, I said he threw it off 1 foot because the ball just died on him, right? Yeah. So, but I with you, J. Lou. Burks is too big.
Too big.
Come down with that ball when he got his hands on it. Now, I'm not gonna make it's both of their issue, right? But man.
Somebody said in the comments, Burks just doesn't have that dog in him.
He doesn't.
It's almost like watching Corey Davis again, man.
I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what
And again, having that dog mentality, you either got it or you don't.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't coach.
You can't teach that.
No. You can't teach that. So the bottom line is he doesn't have it. So you got to use him in different ways and everything because he's just one of those guys that just doesn't have that dog mentality. When the ball goes up, it's mine.
Man, we got 2 weeks and 7 turnovers.
Yep.
Week 1, you had a block punt, 2 picks, a fumble. This week, you got a pick, a fumble, and a block punt. Man, it's ironic. It's the same stuff. 2 weeks in a row.
I would love to see the stat on how many teams have allowed a block punt 2 games in a row.
First time since 2012. Washington football team did it twice. I think that was a team that did it in 2012. Had it in back-to-back games to begin the season.
12 years.
Here's the part that it's got to get better for me is that even when we know the offense is going to take a minute to gel. We knew that, right? We talked about that in length. We knew the offensive line was going to take a minute to gel because they're young, they're new guys. You only got one guy that's got a whole bunch of experience in there, and that's Cushenberry. But when your quarterback has the time, which he had today in a lot of instances, and I think about what was the third down, they were going toward the south end zone, which you know what I'm talking about because Boyd was wide open. He goes deep to Ridley.
Yep.
I mean, he's got to see stuff like that. And I know I didn't play quarterback in college, high school, college, but I know it's hard to see that stuff, man, when people around you, especially you don't have that much experience, but man, you can't look for the deep shot all the time.
Yeah. You wish that you hope that Levis's clock develops to what the person you saw on the other side of the field. There were several times Aaron Rodgers should have been sacked, and that mental clock went off when he either got rid of it or he threw it to his last check that was the right check down and kept the chains moving or whatnot. But to your point, that one about Boyd, it's like he locks in.
He does.
He locks in, and he's just gonna stay there.
He does.
I think he locked in on really too much today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and that's been their main goal throughout camp and everything because him and Ridley had no connection. So that's the reason why I think he locks in on him. But at the same time, he's got to start. First of all, what he's got to start doing is coming up to the line of scrimmage and making that first read of the defense, and then understanding what you can do. Because the bottom line is he's going up there and he's waiting to the last minute to snap the ball. He's not making any checks or changes or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, come on, he's got, and again, I understand this is literally still going through his rookie year. Yeah. But you had 2 training camps.
Right.
So you've got to be better. And he knows he's got to be better. You're supposed to be smart guy, got a good arm and everything, but you get your technique, you keep reverting back. Like you said, he drifts left. He keeps reverting back to the old habits. And the bottom line is he's got to start learning how to read the defense and how to read the defense as he's stepping back, knowing what receivers are going to be and understand the winning matchups. Because there was plenty of times where Eddie was in the stands. He was seeing winning matchups, and he never took advantage of it.
At all.
At all.
Who was the lone Phoenix, man? You ain't supposed to tell people that. I played quarterback in high school. Hey, but Travis, right? I like your point, man. I like your comment. He says Burks needs to be in the slot. He does. We've been saying it. He's not an X or a Z. He needs to be in the slot. Don't know why. Again, and I'm not making excuses for anybody, so don't take it that way. We got a young coaching staff.
Yeah.
Still trying to figure things out. Yeah. And so it's just gonna take a minute. Like I said, J. Lou has pointed this out time and time again. If you've been following us, that this should have been the year 2 of rebuild.
This should have been year 2.
We still in year 1.
And it was some fans in our section today that was talking about Vrabel, and I wanted to just throw them in the stands for that. Vrabel, you can't.
My gosh.
If Callahan doesn't pan out this first year, you can't say that it'd be different with Vrabel because we wouldn't be running some of the stuff you see running with it. Again, you've got to give him a chance to again, the bye, and every team always says the bye comes at the right time. Having an early bye, as crazy as it sounds, it might come at the right time after you've got 4 weeks worth of true live games on film with four different, vastly different teams now that you'll play. So
that's the thing about it too. Like I said, I was looking at it and I'm like, okay, we just got to hopefully again our goal, the high goal for this month was to come out 2-2.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That was the high goal.
This first quarter, right?
Yes.
First quarter. We figured if we come out 2-2 going into the bye, we got a shot. But the bottom line is you don't know how this is going to pan out. Today, you've had 2 games you let get away. Mm-hmm. Let's just be real about it because
I agree 100%.
Yeah, I was surprised. I will say this: you have to be somewhat impressed in the fact that we went up against a quote unquote top 5 Super Bowl defense,
and they didn't look like to me.
And were able to do things. So we have got to again, as players, especially on the offensive side of the ball, they got to get their act together, especially the quarterback, and coaching staff has got to get their act together as far as how they calling plays and making sure they're making quick adjustments. Because once they started moving the receiver, God, I can't even think of his name now.
Ridley. Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
Once they started moving him around and started putting him in the slot and everything, it took Denard a while before he figured out, hey, I need to take a linebacker out and put a safety in or somebody and make sure that we got this covered. It took him too long.
It did.
It took him too long.
I agree. Travis, you're right. You're so right, man. Another good point. Burst, he didn't have a chance when he got here because everybody's upset because he was the guy that was supposed to be A.J. Brown, right? And so he never had a chance. You're right, man. You're a great point. Appreciate that. But back to your point, G-Whip. I'm like, I don't know why he doesn't have Snead and cat coverage. Cat coverage is where he travels with number 1, which he was doing that. So he's not going in the slot.
Nah, he didn't.
He would bump outside. So I'm like,
now one thing I will say I thought was good, and you saw it, and really I think a lot of things got thrown off to him when Roger McCreary came out as well. When he hurt his shoulder, whatever the case, whatever happened to him. Because once he put him back in, whenever Garrett Wilson went to the slot, Roger McCreary picked him up.
Correct. Now
and played him physical, and that kept a lot of things from happening. As opposed to when McCreary was out, they were trying to cover him with a linebacker, and that definitely was not going to work.
Yeah, I mean, he even brought Jamal Adams in, and he matched up with the tight end a little bit. It did pretty good. I mean, we know that's not his strong suit, but he did pretty good. And so, again, it's gonna be it's not a sprint, it's a grind this season.
It is a grind. It is a grind.
It's
gonna take, because I've seen it before we got on the show. Dan Orlovsky does a great job breaking down quarterback play.
He does.
What's gonna tick you off about the last drive on the first?
I already know what you're gonna say. Yeah,
Calvin really was NFL open. He was NFL open. Yeah. and Will Levis, again to your point, pulled it down and took off running. Like there was, I think, the second down or the third down. Look at Pollard, because that was right in my end zone.
Pollard was open too.
Pollard was wide open. So he's got to figure out, the game has not slowed down for him
yet.
That's it. And I think in turn, and again, this is why I say you get to the bye and maybe switch it up. Your coaching staff might have to dumb down the playbook, as bad as that sounds, but dumb it down in order to slow down the game for him until he gets to that point. Because you saw it. You saw them take his confidence away when there was one scramble he had that I asked, who was he going to throw it to? Because you had 2 extra linemen in there, 2 tight end, and 1 receiver, and that receiver was NWI. You weren't throwing it to nobody on that when you were scrambling.
We know what that
formula equals.
Why Deion says, why is it taking so long for our coaches to figure things out, make an adjustment? They're new and be into their position, not in the NFL game. That's a great call. So it's a little different.
It's a little different, I think, because so you got to think, both of your play callers, including your head coach, it's their first time ever calling plays.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, and he said it. There's one thing I'll say about Callahan, man. He's very open and honest. He said it after the preseason, and he said it last game. He's having to adjust. He's never not looked at the NFL game on the sideline. He's always been in the box, and you wonder how much of that is an adjustment for him too, because it's a little different to read the defense and the blitz from the sideline view as opposed at sky level. So I think it's going to take them some time to really gel and understand how to call the game and get in a rhythm. Now, I thought he was in a better rhythm until his quarterback snatched his confidence away. I thought he was in a better rhythm, and he let that dictate him.
Yeah. You think about that drive they put together after that first score, and we force a punt, and they driving down. I mean, they're in the red zone.
In the red zone.
That's a field goal at least.
At least.
Yes.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Your quarterback does not understand situational football.
Nope.
You're in that position. You want to come out with at least 3 because you're already up. You're up 7. You go up 2 scores. It changes their offense.
Changes the offense.
And you can't even move the ball in your defense.
And they weren't moving the ball.
Right.
Defense was killing them. I was impressed I would say, in all honesty, that first half, I was impressed with the defense because they were just shutting Aaron Rodgers down.
And they were put in bad spots a few times.
Yeah, and still shut them down.
Yeah. No doubt.
And then, but you keep turning the ball over. 2, you have way too many 3 and outs.
5.
You have got to be able to give your defense some rest and put them on the sideline. But you're going out there and you run, and then you throw, and you get nowhere.
Wow.
And that's the whole thing. It's like,
wait a minute.
It's like the playbook almost dried up. Like I said, in the first half, you see him. We texted back and forth. It's like he listened to the show.
Yes.
Because we said it last week. You got to roll him out. Help your offensive line and help him not have to deal with that pass rush. You did that. Now, granted, he was slow on the trigger on a lot of those throws.
Oh, yes.
But I'm like, you got him rolling out. You got to do those type of things. But right now, like I said, they just got to go back and wake up. And Will Levis, I'm pretty sure that seemed like that may have been the first time in his career that he got cussed out on the sideline coming off the field.
I mean, he made a beeline to him.
He did. He made a beeline to him.
I saw him do it like that.
So, because it was just a stupid play. Bottom line, and it was a stupid play 2 weeks in a row. On top of that, you saw Tua make the same play Thursday night.
Yeah.
So, dude,
I don't know what that's
about. He's got to understand situational football and understand that when you're down there and you're inside the red zone, it's 3rd and 8. Yeah, you want to get a first down. Yeah, you want to score a touchdown. But, dude, more important, you want to come out of there with points.
Yeah.
Well, Malik starting over the same QB that Levis couldn't be out in college. Yeah, how ironic is that?
Yep.
It's going to be pretty interesting next week. Yeah. So, another thing I want to point out about the offense, man, I thought it's been a while since we've been able to say this. Our receivers were actually getting open against man coverage today. And I know y'all saw it because it was all over. It's just, quarterbacks,
man. Yes.
But it was great because we got people that can get open. Not just one, but I'm gonna tell you what though. And I said it last week. Calvin really is the truth.
Hey, man,
he was cooking sauce. Man,
he was cooking sauce. Cooking it. Like, and as quiet as it's kept, Tyler Boyd ain't a bad receiver either.
Tyler Boyd is a route technician too.
Yes.
But the bottom line is, and the thing that drives is the craziest thing. The thing that drives you crazy with Will Levis. Some of those passes he made, you look at him, you like, dude, that was a heck of a throw.
Yes.
The one to Boyd in the window.
I was like, dude, that's a heck of a throw.
Yeah.
And
I tell you another good one. I mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. Another good one. The wheel route to Tony Pollard.
Yeah,
that was a good throw.
That was a great throw.
But then you look at another bonehead throw where Boyd was wide open and he hit the DB in the back of the head.
Yeah,
I'm just like, wow.
I'm like, wow. He don't even know and the guy next to me was a Jets fan. He's like, all he had to do was turn around. Like he didn't know.
Yeah.
Travis says, "You think we would be 2-0? Mason played no."
I don't think so. I don't
because if you watch Mason Rudolph play, he has a hard time throwing the ball to the right side of the field.
I think you'd be 1-1. I don't like you. You could put that loss last week solely on the pick six.
Yeah,
I think Mason don't do that piece.
Yeah, but
yeah, I think today's outcome would have been about the same.
Yeah.
Will says, "Do you think Tannehill will succeed with this roster?" That's a great question.
That's a good question.
Actually, I think he would.
Yeah.
And the only reason I say that is because, again, I go back to when he first got here.
Yeah.
The big difference between him was the fact that when he got here was that he had a good offensive line, had a running game, and he had good receivers.
Yeah.
That's really what helped Tannehill a whole lot. Now, the question is, the offensive line is still weak, but they're good enough.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought I'm not as hard on the offensive line this week as I was last week.
No.
I thought they played some good ball this week. But
yeah, no doubt.
The bottom line is right now we got to live with this quarterback that we got, and he's got to make a leap.
Yeah, and I'm with you, K. Lou, man. Spears, I thought Spears had the hot hand early too, and they took him out too much.
Took him out.
I mean, especially when he got that first down run and he jump cut to the outside and got out to the
broke his ankles.
And Will, I agree with you too, man. If we can get him to that, so there's a lot. Will has a lot of tools, right? He can run, he can throw. He's got to stop making those plays that's killing him. And if we can get that, if Callie can get that out of him, I think the sky's the limit for the kid, for the guy.
Yeah.
And so, just again, his 11th game, he's got to get the experience,
Yeah, like we've been saying. First of all, the thing you got to get out of your head is that you got to play hero ball.
You don't have to.
You don't have to. That's not your job. Your job right now, as a rookie, your job is to manage the game.
Yeah,
that's your job. Your job is not to be the hero.
Mm-mm.
Your job is to manage the game. Your job is to take the plays that come, keep the offense functioning efficiently, and not turn the ball over.
Because you got a defense that can win you the game.
Defense that's playing lights out.
You got a defense that's top. There's a championship defense.
Hey,
like literally. I mean,
think about the offense we played today. Well, you think about it. I mean, week 1, okay, Caleb Williams, rookie. Yeah, you got a Hall of Fame quarterback. You got Garrett Wilson. You got Breece Hall, Lazard. You got some guys out there that can make some plays.
Yeah,
I mean, and it was.
I'm gonna tell you right now, because I know they're gonna talk about it tomorrow, and it's all gonna be focused on the Jets, and they're gonna, of course, they're gonna dog out Will Levis for sure. But I'm interested in seeing Get Up tomorrow morning to see if Rex has anything to say about the defense for the Titans, because I know that defense took them by surprise.
Tremaine asking the question: what does it say? Malik Willis comes to town and outplays Will Levis. What does it say?
Coaching.
Like
so, not Will Levis. Malik Willis, and I'm not knocking him because if you listen, we were fans. I just thought he was in a bad situation. If you go back and watch the game today, they won that game the old Titans way. Running back had 33 carries.
Yep.
He didn't they didn't put him in position to turn it over, and they played defense and shut down. So that's next week. Next week's Titans you want to force Malik Willis to be a passer next week to have a shot.
You got to. I agree with you, Travis. They got to give Ernest a contract extension now because that dude is a baller.
Hey, he was all over the field.
Led a team in tackles a day.
All over the field.
And then you got to give him. I mean, it didn't take long.
Didn't take long.
But we knew it was coming, but it didn't take long.
Yeah. And Nathan says the center threw up.
They did say that on the coach said it after the game.
They asked him why didn't he throw that pass. He said the center threw up on it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And so I know we've talked special teams to death, but J. Lou, you made a great point at the game today. You said the third running back that they kept on the roster. They got rid of the special team. They got rid of the special
team ace
and he's the one that gave up the block punt today.
Gave up the block punt. I mean, and if you looked at Post Stonehouse, he's got to have PTSD.
Oh gosh,
he came off the sideline. He was so mad. And again, I said it last week on last week's show, and you saw it on every punt after that. He's going to out punt the coverage from now on because he's just getting rid of it. Yeah, and that's going to be a problem because he's now lost trust. And again, I said it earlier. The last 3 games he's punted in has had a block. The injury last week and today.
Yeah.
And then another thing about special teams, Jackson showed so much promise in the preseason. I don't know if he's looking at the hole and reading the field right on punt returns, because
I'm gonna tell you what he's doing. I'm gonna tell you what he's doing, because unfortunately, this is something we're going to live through this season. He's being a typical rookie.
Because man,
as a rookie, as guys who come in from college and everything, they're used to being able to go sideline to sideline, spin whatever,
yes,
and make people miss, and next thing you know, you're gone.
Yep.
That's not the pro game.
Nope.
In the pro game, sometimes you gotta just and me and Eddie was saying it up in the stand. Sometimes you just gotta go straight ahead, get yards, and be done with.
You sound like me. I kept telling them on two of them, just go north to south. Stop going east to west. Just go north to south.
Go north to south.
Everybody can run the league.
Even
the big guys.
So, you just gotta get the yards and everything. But unfortunately, he's got to get out of that habit and understand the NFL special teams play. When you're running back a kickoff or you're running back a punt, you got your first order of business: 1, make the catch; 2, get as many yards as you can. And going sideline to sideline, you're just not going to outrun everybody. You just ain't going to do that.
Yeah.
You got to hit a seam. Most run backs that you see, what do? They hit a seam. They go straight up, they hit a seam, and it's gone. And that's what he's got to learn. But more importantly, they got to figure out how to block on punts and actually find a gunner who has some speed.
Yeah.
Because we have no speed without gunners at all.
Yeah, NWI
is a gunner. He has no speed. He has no speed. So they gotta go out and find somebody, a cornerback or somebody who's got some good top level speed, who can be a good gunner and get down there because really, I'm not mad at Stonehouse kicking the cover.
Me neither.
I'm not mad at it. You got to get gunners out there that's going to make the tackle.
Yep.
You want him kicking his 70 yards on some of these plays. You want him, and I don't blame him. Get rid of the ball, kick it. His average was low today. He was averaging 50-something last week. This week he only averaged like 40-something yards per kick. Counted the block punt.
Yeah. Great point. Lone Phoenix says the offensive line is in shambles. Special team offensive line is not that bad. It's getting better, but the special teams is an issue.
Yeah.
You're right.
I will tell you what's bad on the offensive line. NPF ain't it,
man. I'm gonna tell you. if I don't know how he didn't get false start like every play.
I know.
I was like, man, that's false start.
They were giving him the benefit of the doubt.
I was like, wow, that's
like
false start again.
Kansas City last year kept getting false starts. They didn't even call it on him. I'm like, man, it's just, I don't know. But I again, we got a whole revamped offensive line.
Yeah, no doubt.
We only got one player back from last year, and this is his second year.
Yep.
Like I said it earlier, I'm not as hard on them. I thought they played better this week than they did last week. And I'm just constantly trying to see that improvement from them. But there's been a couple of times where, they struggle with the protections. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They struggle with their protection.
Oh, yeah. No doubt. I think, Tremaine, I think they do. I think they he wanted to know if they still believe in Will as a coach. Yeah. I think they do. I think they just, they realize he's still young, inexperienced, and there's some things they need to break as far as his habits.
Yeah.
And so I think, like you said, Jay Lou, we get to the bye week and maybe they get some things ironed out. Second half of the season should be better, hopefully. Youngest offensive line in the league. I'm not sure, but I'll bet you it's close.
I think it is.
Yeah, it's either that or the second one. Or somebody that's got a 25-year-old average or something like that. Yeah. To your point, Virgil. So they can only get right.
The experience on the offensive line, you got the man with the most experience is your center.
Yeah. He got 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
NPF is really, if you want to really consider, he's in it's supposed to be his third year. He's actually in his second year.
Because he only played one.
And most of the time, and you got Dylan Raders who's been hurt since he's been here.
Yeah.
And and the other two guys, Peter and Latham, they're both, Peter's in his second year, Latham's a rookie. So you got a really young offensive line. That's why I'm not as hard on them, and they play well. And they can be better, but I think like we said, if we can get 2 wins before the bye, we can win these next 2 games and go into the bye. I think after the bye, you might see a much different team.
Yeah, and I agree, man. I think the offensive line is better than what we thought they were going to be, and I think the potential is there as well. Like I said, we just got to clean a few things up. I think they're playing well considering the youth and the inexperience that they have, and I think the sky's the limit for those guys, man. Because when they get it together, you better watch out. You better watch out, man. Because they're doing good. They just hadn't got it together yet. But once they get it together, we're gonna be set for a while around here.
Yeah, they're missing the consistency side.
Bruce Matthews.
Is basically what they're missing.
Deion says call Bruce Matthews off the couch, man.
And then they play right tackle. I mean, it's
Tremaine, Jeffrey Simmons. If he's not getting double team, he's getting triple team.
Yeah, now that was one of Harold Landry's sacks. Because I said they ran the exact same sack that they ran
last week.
Yeah. When are we gonna score 30 points again, Nathan? I hope it's
next week. We can't get past 17.
Crystal ball says
we're stuck at 17.
17 is where we live right now.
Yeah, 17.
Oh my God! So just looking at the AFC South, of course, the Texans, like I said, undefeated 1-0. They got to play the Bears tonight. Jags go down to the Browns 18-13, and the Packers beat the Colts 16-10. Like you said, Jay Lou, Josh Jacobs had 32 carries a day, so you know the formula. Right, you know the formula next week. Although they're not going to be able to run the ball on us.
Yeah.
So something's got to get. Now they didn't put Jordan Love on the injury reserve. That's kind of strange. His knee popped. If you saw it.
Well, they said the injury is not as bad as they thought it was going to be. And I guarantee you, the bottom line, what they're looking at really, they're trying to make it through till he can actually come back and play. So Malik winning today and being efficient like he was today,
12-14.
gave them hope for next week.
122 yards.
Yeah, 12-14, 122, one touchdown. I think 40 yards on the ground.
40 yards on the ground.
But again, that's the formula. You're going, and credit to LaFleur. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Run the ball. That's what you got Jacobs for. Yeah. Pound the ball. Don't let your quarterback be a game manager. The Titans, you've got to take that away from them. And again, they've watched film, so they're going to do a lot of outside zone runs because you're an idiot to run up the middle on Big Jeff and Sweat.
Travis just said
it. You stop the stretch runs, and you've got to force Malik to be a passer next week to give you a shot.
Because guess what's going to happen? He's going to see some exotic stuff that he hadn't seen before.
Yes.
And it's going to make him hold that ball.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you saw us seeing a look. So one thing I've been noticing about Denard so far, he's getting a little bit predictable. First half, no blitzing. Second half, now coming, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll see. Like I said, everybody's learning how players fit. Learning this, so it's a learning process. We got to be patient. I know everybody's panicking because they want, everybody want to win. I do too. But with the situation where we're at, a new offensive line, new head coach, new coaches in particular, new players, trying to fit together. You got to remember the offense, number one, didn't play a lot of preseason together. Not making excuses, but I mean it's just out there. Lone Phoenix said Malik has our playbook, so bonus to Packers. Yeah. We'll see how that works with Sweat, Jeff, and Ernest in the middle. We're good on the downhill runs. We are.
Yeah.
Kenneth Murray, he shot through that a day.
Oh,
I mean, see ball, get ball.
Yes, that's him. See ball, get ball.
See ball, get ball. Now. He gave up a touchdown. I thought he had some good coverage. That was just a dime.
That's why I said that was just a great pass.
That was just a dime.
And that's your safety cheating the wrong way.
Yeah.
Because Hooker looked the wrong way. He should have been helping over there more.
You probably been over there with the linebacker.
Yeah. Should have been with the linebacker.
Yeah,
But again, that's what you get when you're dealing with a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Oh yeah.
Shut him down. Got shut down Josh Jacobs next week, man. We shut him down.
Stop the run and
make Malik beat us.
And that's going to be the key.
See what happens. I mean, they ran about 53 times today.
Yeah.
And they got some guys, Romeo Dobbs. They got some guys out there that can catch Watson. He might be hurt, though.
I think he is.
And so another tough game, another tough defense that we're facing next week.
I was going to say, they got a very good defense.
A very good front. And so it's going to be another test for offensive line. Our tackles in particular, they got Quay Walker. Those guys can rush. Xavier McKinney at safety, Kenny Clark at nose.
Yeah, those
so
no
Cushenberry is going to have Jair Alexander, another top cornerback coming in. And we'll probably see him in cat coverage against Ridley. But I mean, like I said, Ridley is a route technician. And you just go back and look at the out route he ran on Sauce, and then he talks smack on the side. Like, this is your number one guy.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about it, man. If you look at it in all honesty, all three of them, Ridley, D-Hop, and Boyd, they're all route technicians, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're all route technicians. They can run good routes. The thing about it is, you got to have a quarterback that can get the ball to him.
You got to have
right now, we just don't have that.
We just don't have it right now.
Yeah, we just don't have it right now.
Long season. The grind. Don't jump off yet, fans. Don't jump off Titans fans. We still.
I mean, here's another silver lining for a young team. Outside of the ankle injury to Spears, you got a healthy team still.
So it was an ankle injury.
It was ankle. Yeah, it came up and said ankle on the board when we was at the game.
Gotcha.
And then your offensive line. You want them to get continuity playing together. Nobody was injured, and they continue to get more reps together. So you would think theoretically it should only improve because they got one of the best offensive line coaches, and you can see technique being a little different. Now again, you can't coach some of the ability. I mean, I just don't personally think NPF is great, but I think he can be manageable for the rest of the season. So I think that'll continue to come. But again, got out the game healthy. This is the first time that you've seen the entire defense, because we didn't have Adams last week.
Right.
So I think to G-Witt's point, I think if you're the Titans brass, you want to get through these next 2 weeks. You'd love to win them, love to go into about 2-2 on a win streak, and then be able to sit down and say, okay, this is how our team look. This is what we need to change. Because I mean, you've finally got all your pieces on the chessboard together. Let's see what we're gonna do now.
We'll see what we're going to do now. Thank y'all again, man, for joining us for another episode of Halftime Adjustments. Eddie Arnell, G-Witt, J. Lou.
Yes, sir.
Titans go down 24-17. Week 2, dropped to 0-2. It's okay. Long season. It's a grind, man. You got to grind it with us because we're going to grind it.
Hey, I mean,
yeah,
we could always be Carolina Panthers fans. I don't think there's their season's over.
No hope.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of 0-2 teams.
Yes,
the Rams got beat today. The
Baltimore
Ravens got beat today.
The Bengals got beat.
The Bengals got beat today. So it's a long season. A lot could happen.
KC, that's what I was doing when you text me.
Field goal at the end.
Field goal. 1 point. 26-25.
Yeah.
The fumble return for a touchdown made a difference in that bad boy.
That was a huge play. Jamal Adams play. He probably played like 2 or 3 plays. I don't think he played much. He made a tackle. He made a great tackle. And you saw him in coverage.
Well, the thing I like about having Jamal Adams in there, in all honesty, it's just like having an extra linebacker.
Yeah, no doubt.
On run plays. I mean, because he that tackle he made was like, I'm like, man,
that was a great tackle.
But the thing is, man, again, with a young team, whole nuance and everything, I'm trying to be patient with them because there's a lot. There's a lot, and today I just couldn't do nothing. After that block punt, I couldn't do nothing but laugh. I was like, man, this is ridiculous. This fundamentally is ridiculous.
Because remember, J. Lou, G-Witt said he can't sit through a 3-13 season.
He said he can't sit through one.
A 3-14 season. Excuse me. Yeah, my apologies, sir.
G-Witt, I mean, this team don't feel like it should be 3-14.
It don't.
I feel like it with the talent there. And
there's a lot of talent.
Nathan pointed that out. I mean, you can look at that Panthers team and tell they lucky if they can get 2 wins.
Yeah,
I don't feel that with us.
I don't think so either.
I will say this though. I will say this in all honesty. One, again, a difference from last week and this week. It was good to see them put together 2 drives in the second half.
Yes.
Because they didn't do that at all last week. So in that regard, I thought that was improvement. Just, again, you just couldn't make the plays. Again, the only thing that scares me about this team is I'm worried about us being strictly a first half team.
Yes.
That's the only thing.
That's the only thing.
Yeah. Worries me about it.
Yeah.
2 games and we're strictly a first half team.
Yeah. The other thing that I'll say that I don't believe we're that bad as we were talking about, we're too good in the trenches. on both sides of the ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you can win in the trenches like they show they can do, that carries a long way in the game because that's where it starts. And so, again, man, thank y'all for joining us tonight. Another episode of Halftime Adjustments. We still here, baby. We go grind. We go grind. You got 15 more games left. And I'm telling you, to get to 9-8 or 10-7, you had to lose some games. So you got to lose some games.
Remember, Houston started off 0-2 last year as well, and ended up making the playoffs. So, 0-2 is not like it was when
we hurt. Yes,
you get the quarterback together, play together. I think we'll be all right.
Yeah.
The guys are getting open. And we got open against a good defense today.
Yeah.
And one of the top cornerbacks today was getting to take it to him today.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm looking forward to get up in the morning on ESPN just to see if Rick Fry's got anything good to say about our defense. That's the only thing I'm looking forward to hearing. Hopefully he will.
That means we go 15-2 now. Come on, Dion. I'm on it, man. Jump on that train, baby.
I would love to see that flip.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Man, again, thank y'all for joining us tonight, man. Eddie on LG with J. Lou.
Yes, sir.
Halftime Adjustment. Check us out, man. Next Sunday. Look for that time. It'll be, we'll let you know. Somebody's going to be traveling this week, so we'll let you know, man, about next Sunday, man. But appreciate y'all's support, man. Questions, love for the show. Share the show, man, if you like it. Go on the YouTube channel. You can subscribe to that, man, as well. Keep following us on Facebook, man. Twitch. We on all those, man. So appreciate y'all supporting us, man. But we out of here.